Sometimes, fortunately or unfortunately, that's how it goes. You need to get to a point where life smashes your fucking face against the pavement in order for you to get it. Where the pain of not doing something outweighs the pain of doing it. Now that we understand all the different ways we can be in and out of alignment, and one of those is to be at peace with the fact that we may be out of alignment, currently, in some way, right? There's all these different ways we can be out of alignment. And sometimes we need to be at peace with the fact that we're out of alignment with, our health, our wealth, or something else. Which is why it's important to remember that the Stoics said that these are preferred indifference. Okay? Because in many ways, your happiness is not contingent upon them. It's okay to pursue them, it's okay to prefer them, but your happiness is not contingent upon them. And so if your happiness is not contingent upon them, but contingent upon virtuous living in accordance with the 4 cardinal virtues, if that's the case, then it's okay to temporarily accept that you are in some way out of alignment, let's say with your health. You don't have your health and diet maybe is not its most ideal, or your dating life is not ideal. It's not where you want it to be. But accepting the fact that it's not a priority yet, or you don't have the courage to pursue it just yet, at least recognizing it. Yes, it takes courage, right? One of the 4 virtues, right? At least recognizing, I'm working on it. I'm working on that courage, okay? Or it's not a priority yet, okay? At least being in alignment about that is going to make you more at peace. And so this brings me to the point I wanted to make, is that you want to start seeing these things as opportunities. You want to start seeing alignment. Okay, the reason I'm telling you about all this, and I'm making this video, is not to guilt you. It's not to say you should do this. This is an obligation, okay? It's an opportunity. This is a really powerful way of reframing things. You have the opportunity to become in alignment. You have the opportunity to pursue these things, these higher ideals, this virtuous way of life, this balanced way of life, okay? These things that are gonna make you happy, this way of living that will make you happy. You have the opportunity. It's not an obligation. You don't have to live this way. I say you need this because that's what's actually gonna make you happy, okay? But at the same time, I'm not here to force anything down your throat. The best way to realize these things is when you listen, tune in to what's really happening, and understand if you're swimming with the current or against it. If you remind yourself that you have the opportunity to swim with the current, and here are the steps that you can take, it's gonna make you a lot more willing to try. It's not like someone's telling you to. Vadim said, or this guy said, or this religious teaching is saying, or this philosophical teaching is saying. It's like, this is an opportunity, man. You have the opportunity to eat good food instead of cat food, to come back to our analogy. I think sometimes knowing that the pain that you might come to a situation or a stage in your life where the pain of not doing something outweighs the pain of doing it. And sometimes, fortunately or unfortunately, that's how it goes. You need to get to these points in your life. You need to get to a point where life smashes your fucking face against the pavement in order for you to get it. That's unfortunately how it goes. And that could be a bit of a negative way of looking at it, but another important thing that can be a big source of motivation and a way of looking at things as an opportunity as opposed to an obligation is the simple notion that I talk a lot about, is that action creates motivation. Okay, and this is something I remind myself a lot. Action creates motivation. Sometimes things feel so daunting, but something that's so comforting, okay, and write this down, put it up, tattoo it, put it up I have it up on my, above my desk. Action creates motivation. It's knowing that once you start taking action, and once you build some consistency, I'm going to talk a lot about good process and all that in separate videos. But once you start talking action, that is what builds the motivation. It's not this video. Okay? It's not some other video that you saw or a book you read. Okay, those are sources of inspiration maybe and guides and learning. But what really builds motivation is just starting to take action and signaling to yourself, you know what? I want to live in alignment. I want to live courageously. I want to subscribe to the wisdom of the universe and to my own truth. That can be a very good tool to motivate you. Knowing that action creates motivation can be a good source of motivation when things feel so daunting. So you have the opportunity, and these are some tools that can help you pursue these opportunities. I want to clarify that when it comes to the pain of doing something versus not doing something, we can hit different thresholds. We don't always have to reach a point where life just smashes your face against the concrete, against the curb, in order for you to wake up and get it and say, now I'm going to act. Sometimes that's how it goes. Sometimes that's inevitable. And you have to get to a point in your dating life or just your life in general where you're so fucking miserable and unhappy and depressed. And you just feel so icky about your entire existence that you have to start acting. But there are different thresholds. There are degrees to which you feel icky about your existence. And I think when we know, and this is why I talk about action creating motivation, I think when we know action creates motivation, we don't always have to wait until those moments. We can say, you know what, maybe I should start right now. Maybe I should start feeling this out right now. And also being in alignment with the degree to which you are testing this. You know what, I'm just going to get my feet wet. I'm just going to start slowly building this habit of going out and meeting girls and talking to girls and working on my confidence and my charisma and my communication and knowing, you know what, I'm allocating this much time. And as a result, well, this much time and effort. And as a result, well, my results might be this much, right? They're going to be proportionate, right? And that in itself is alignment. To conclude, remember, you have the opportunity to move towards alignment. It is not an obligation, and you don't always have to wait until life pounds your face into the pavement. Sometimes when you're hurting and you feel like you're out of alignment, feel free to start acting today if you want. You have the opportunity. And just know that taking some form of action and being in alignment with that action, the degree to which you're willing to try, it's going to make you more at peace, and it's going to build more and more motivation. So action creates motivation as a way of reminding yourself that you can leverage your power to act versus not act in a more proactive way instead of waiting for things to get very painful. It's, and also to know that, right, something I've struggled with a lot is perfectionism, right? And perfectionism in many ways is, part of it is having a neurotic personality and being very attuned to details and to do things right. And that's the good side of perfectionism. But also a big part of perfectionism is fear. Fear of chaos, fear of not doing it right, fear of some kind of judgment, fear of leaving something out. Like when I make my videos, for example, I'm afraid of leaving something out, not explaining it the right way, confusing. Well, maybe things can be better explained later down the line. Why does it all need to be explained right away? Right? So I'm always kind of keeping this balance of creating something, putting something out. This is the whole notion of documenting versus creating. Putting something out where I can already start making an impact and then build on that, as opposed to like, well, it's all got to be done right away, right? And I've made a lot of progress with that, but it is still something that I struggle with, especially when it comes to content. Especially, I didn't have this problem nearly as much when it came to improving my dating life. I just throw myself out there. It never felt permanent. It's like, oh, these interactions are impermanent. Whereas when I'm creating content, it feels like this permanent thing. But in a sense, it's an illusion. It's like, yeah, a piece of content in a sense is permanent, but you can build on it and build on it and build on it. And the impact you have on people when you're creating content is not necessarily permanent It's fluid and ever evolving.
All right, man. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying this content and that it really helps you make some moves in the right direction. Sincerely, because everything I teach, I have lived and breathed and contemplated ad nauseum. Unlike a bunch of these cookie cutter life coach clowns out there that regurgitate some shit they read in a book and call themselves experts. With that in mind, if you want to go deeper, if you want to really know what it takes to become the kind of guy that can confidently attract and manage relationships with quality women on your terms and in a way that is healthy and honest, no scummy or gimmicky shit here. And if you generally want to live a life of truth, freedom, love, courage, and adventure, then as Tom Cruise famously said in Jerry Maguire, help me help you, and go click the link below. There's a very entertaining and informative video that will shed some light on how you can get started. Do it, or you will forever perish into the dark abyss. But seriously, go check it out. Let's kickstart this journey of personal development together and help you reinvent yourself into a sex god.